what you're looking at is the underside of this aft seat. What's going to happen is this is going to be a box that a battery is going to sit in inside the aft seat. So I'm putting all of that stuff together right now. So what's going to happen is the battery is going to be sitting inside that battery box with the solar panel on top of it. So that's going to be acting sort of like a little umbrella. And then the solar panel is going to hinge up out of the way like this to access the battery, a couple of switches, the fuses, and stuff like that. Okay, so for my next trick, I have mixed up a batch of thickened epoxy. And what I'm going to attempt to do is and that's how it's done, folks. Look at those fillets. That's the top, and that is the bottom. I'm gonna do one more step on this box and show you how to make a really, really nice fillet. And then I just got a little tiny bit of clear, neat epoxy, but this just really makes it super glassy smooth. That right there is one of the fillets that I put the neat epoxy on. This one right here has not had it. See how it still looks pretty rough and lumpy? Holding the camera with the left hand, brushing the epoxy with the right hand. See how it just smooths up? Yeah, real nice. Let me catch you up once again concerning the progress I've made on this boat off camera. Now, the first striking thing you may be able to notice is the boat is more white than you saw it last time. I have indeed added another coat of paint, and I believe it will actually need at least a third in order to really get the color nice and uniform. Let's see. Now let's talk about a couple other things. I think in here nothing too drastic has changed. Another coat of paint has been added in there. And let's see, this is a new addition. So I have this hole. It is actually a larger hole that's been filled in with epoxy and then had this final hole drilled out. Without going into too much detail right now, this is going to serve as a port for the fuel line to pass, you know, from outside the boat to inside this locker where the fuel tank is going to be. More on that coming up here shortly. Going towards the back end of the boat, what you see right there is actually a small fiberglass base that I have epoxied to the floor of the boat. And then this black piece here is actually the strainer for the bilge pump. So all of this stuff is fixed into place with epoxy right now, and I'm just going to click that bilge pump into place. And yeah, if I need to change the base out, then I'll just grind that off and epoxy another base down. But it was tricky to, I don't know, couldn't figure out a way to use hardware, so I just have all that stuff glued down. And then moving back around this way, you can see this cable here. This is a 2-conductor cable that is actually run from here all the way along this port side gunnel to the bow. That's the beginnings of, you know, some electrical projects, and it runs all the way up there to the bow because that's where our green and red navigation lights are going to be. And there's going to be a white light back here on the stern somewhere, so that's what that cable is doing. And then what else? So let's see, we've got a hole drilled up here. That is where the water is going to exit the boat from the bilge pump. And I think that pretty much brings everything up to speed at this point. So now, getting back to the seats, I'm going to be popping these seats into place, and then of course underneath the seats we're going to be left with 2 enormous voids which are completely devoid of buoyancy. But once those seats are in place, I'm going to show you my solution to adding buoyancy to these seats. So let's pop those seats on. that's it. What I have here is one of two inflatable exercise peanuts. So my plan is to actually put this inside this seat and then inflate it, and that's going to be our buoyancy that's hidden inside these seats. I really hope that this is going to be a solution for us, and if for some reason it doesn't work all that great, then whatever, no harm, no foul. Then I can actually go with one of those other options for adding buoyancy to this boat. But for now, that's what we're going with. This is one white boat, but that's the non-skid. This is what's next. this entire dinghy outfitting project is rapidly nearing completion. So here's where things are at right now. There is the dinghy, and probably the thing that kind of stands out the most is this PVC contraption that's in the middle. All that is to raise the cover, which is on top of the car, you know, up along the middle to help it shed water a little bit better. So that's what's happening there. One other thing we have that's new over here is the plastic, whoa, there it is the plastic cover that I've put on the fuel line. That's just to help protect everything from UV. The fuel line comes back here to this water separator filter, and it works just great. I did have a concern of whether that filter was going to actually remove the oil from the gasoline, but it does not. So that's good. This little device here is a fuel demand valve, which basically prevents the pressure generated from the fuel tank as it heats up from pushing fuel up and into the motor. So that's probably a handy little device to have. And then, let's see, I guess I'll just show you this battery box, because I think this is where we left off. Now, what I have done that I don't know if I've showed or not in the video is I've added some insulation. There's this piece of insulation that just rests on top of everything there, and then I actually have added this piece of Reflectix behind the solar panel, and I've done this with caution. I was concerned about that Reflectix preventing the solar panel from venting the heat and overheating things, but so far it really doesn't seem to make much difference at all. So I've tested this on 3 different very hot sunny days, and I can't tell much of a temperature difference in anything with or without the Reflectix, you know, as far as the solar panel is concerned, but it definitely keeps everything cooler down in here. So I think we're going to run with that for now. So let's see, let me shut everything off, and I'll show you how everything's set up in here. So that is the battery box. We've got the battery, a little voltage display readout, 2 breakers, 1 on either side, 3 switches, and the charge controller down on the bottom. So here's how everything works. If I want to turn on basically the systems of the boat, I just engage this breaker here, and now we have that switch, which turns on the voltage readout. We've got the middle switch, which operates the bilge pump. And then we have the forward switch, which operates the running lights. White one in the back and a green and red one up front on the bow. So I can turn all that stuff off, and then the final breaker over here, if I engage that, that switches on and makes the connection for the charge controller to turn on and start charging the battery. So that's pretty much the battery box there. And that is the state of things concerning this boat. Again, it is rapidly nearing completion. But today I have a small project going on, which is installing orlocks on the boat. These little guys right here, that is an orlock. That is actually the piece that is connected to the boat. And then this piece, I don't know, not sure what you call this, the horn or something like that. This is what the oar actually goes into, and it's able to pivot as the oars are working. But I had to come up with a way of mounting this funny guy to the boat. And this actually came with the boat. I like it because it's light. It's made out of aluminum. So I wanted to figure out a way to adapt this to fit this boat. It was, I don't know if you remember, I can probably put a little video here showing how it was previously mounted, which was on a door hinge. That's some redneck ingenuity there. I wouldn't have thought of that one. But we're not going with the hinge anymore. We are going with some fancy little parts that I fabricated. So check these out. Feast your eyes on those. Those are some simple brackets that I made in order to basically provide a place to mount those orlocks. Look at them. Aren't they beautiful? Okay, so there you have it, folks. There's the installation of the little brackets I made and the orlocks. Not too bad. Pretty tidy little installation. Definitely lightweight. I think it's going to be strong enough for our uses. Oh, look, there's the other one over there. Huh. This one has the horn in place. I think it's going to work just fine. The thing is, I really don't anticipate using those orlocks all that much. I don't think that this boat is going to row as good as our last one did. I mean, this is a planing hull after all. Our last hull was a displacement hull, but still they will be there if we need to use them for rowing. But the thing is, these orlocks actually have a second purpose, and in fact their primary purpose is going to be something other than being used for rowing. I'm gonna actually keep that little secret under wraps for now, but you'll soon find out exactly what I'm talking about. But anyways, let me know what you think of the installation there. I think it came out pretty good.